In this video, we're looking at the dehydration effects on the body. We're all told to drink more, or drink at least 2 litres a day. We hear that people are dehydrated, and we're told that caffeine and alcohol drinks can dehydrate us. I wanted to find out more about dehydration and its effects on the body. Health Explorer Neil Fellows here to get healthy and fit and stay healthy and fit and do it in a way that's unique and natural to you. Please subscribe and hit the bell. In this episode, we're going to look at dehydration effects on the body. And joining me is Dr. Chris Pickard. So Chris, thanks for joining me today. Today we're talking about dehydration effects on the body. Let's start off with some basics. Tell us what dehydration is and what dehydration causes.
Yeah, well, if someone asks me, what technically is dehydration, the first thing I just think of is, well, basically, you're not drinking enough water. But I thought, I'm going to look up the actual, what the NHS and what some medical sites say about what is dehydration.
Yeah.
It's not really much difference. According to the Mayo Clinic and the NHS websites, dehydration occurs when you use or lose more fluid than you take in, and your body doesn't have enough water and other fluids to carry out its normal functions. If you don't replace lost fluids, you will get dehydration. So basically, you're not drinking enough water.
Yeah.
Or rather, you're not taking enough fluids in.
Yeah.
But it does get more complicated than that, which we'll get into.
Yeah, sure.
So the second part of your question was what sort of symptoms?
Causes of dehydration. What does it cause?
Well, there are a sliding scale of symptoms depending on whether it's just short-term acute dehydration that's only happening occasionally, or it's happening repeatedly and in a major way. So, first obvious things, you get thirsty. Your urine can be much darker than usual as well. But for someone who may be chronically dehydrated, they may not realize that the urine is already dark.
Yeah.
So for anyone, one challenge to set for people is to quite simply just look at your urine. Is it straw colored?
Yeah.
If it's straw colored, then that's usually a good sign that you're probably hydrated. But then it can be, tiredness or fatigue can be simple signs that you're just not drinking enough water today as well. Dry throat, dry eyes. So simple things that you may already think about are the first minor signs, but then it can progress to headaches as well. So if you are suffering from headaches regularly and you've got dark colored urine, maybe you're not drinking enough water and that's the cause of your headaches. But then as you don't get enough water, it basically means the solution that all of your biochemical reactions happen in becomes too gloopy, basically. So instead of having lots of nice water for all your chemical reactions to happen in, it's basically you're trying to have chemical reactions happen in something, that's like syrup. It's going to be very different. Things are going to be more difficult, especially if it's your blood that is actually getting dehydrated and a lack of water. So once it starts going on, dehydration can be the cause of your chronic fatigue. It can start causing heart problems, blood pressure problems, kidney problems in the extreme. It can lead to more problems with Alzheimer's. If you haven't got biochemical reactions, it just gets worse and worse and worse. But the main sort of things are headaches, fatigue, and maybe blood pressure. Those are big ones to think of as dehydration.
Chris, I'm going to ask you another question in a second, but just before I do, for anyone listening who may be alarmed by what Chris is saying here, don't worry. We are going to start looking at some of the things that you can do about this for your own health and wellness. So let's talk about some specifics. Dehydration, what are the effects of dehydration on the body, in particular maybe the brain, the kidneys, or other parts of the body?
Yeah, so again, other things to think of as well is water, excreted through the kidneys and bladder. So again, if you're not getting enough water, your bladder can fill up. It's not flushed out enough, so you could get recurrent infections as well. If your bowel hasn't got enough water, constipation as well. But a a lot of these problems can in some ways be related to what happens in your blood. Okay, because your blood, it needs water to flow. It needs other things for everything to flow properly. But if there's not enough water, then the blood gets thick. And a lot of people are put on blood thinners by their doctors, for instance, because they think, oh, you're old, we want to decrease, heart disease or strokes or something. So I just put you on a blood thinner. And it seems to be regardless of whether or not they've actually had their blood thickness actually checked. Because if your blood gets thick, it gets harder for your heart to pump. So it can lead to heart issues, heart failure, but also your blood pressure will go up. And as your blood gets harder to deliver, okay, it could actually be an early warning of diabetes, because if you can't deliver nutrients to your cells, then the sugar stays in your blood. So, and this is where it can then start leading to problems like brain problems, because your brain needs, first of all, lots of water for it to be happy. But if you chronically dehydrate it, it can lead to dementia. Plus, if the blood gets thick, that leads to further dementia.
Got you. Yeah. So I'm talking with lifestyle coach and nutritionist Dr. Chris Pickard, and we're talking about the dehydration effects on the body. And if the video is being helpful to you, please do give us a thumbs up, because it really does help the channel. Chris, let's start talking about some of the good stuff. What can people do? What would be some good hydration habits?
Well, the first and most obvious one is drink more water, because that is the fluid that we are meant to drink the most. I mean, tea and coffee doesn't actually happen naturally. Coca-Cola certainly doesn't happen naturally. Beer doesn't happen naturally. So yeah, if you're eating lots of junk food and junk rubbish and dehydrated food, like lots of bread, pasta, if you're only eating cooked vegetables, those are all pretty much dehydrated.
Yeah.
And so you want to make sure that you, first of all, start drinking more water, is one thing. But the other thing, and this is a number of years ago, I made a video called Eat Your Water. Because in the wild, we are not surrounded. I haven't got any water bottles because I don't use water, but basically we're not surrounded by glasses or bottles of water to pick up at any time. You have to go to the water hole specifically at specific times. You don't just go to the water hole 8 times a day. You don't drink 8 glasses of water naturally in the wild. You drink maybe once a day.
Yeah.
But even in hot countries and places where you're sweating lots and dehydrating, people just tend to drink at the water hole, maybe once a day, maybe twice a day. A lot of their moisture, a lot of their fluid is coming from raw fruits and vegetables, because raw fruits and vegetables contain a lot of water. I mean, even like a lettuce leaf is like 98% water.
Yeah.
Whereas if you take some vegetables, okay, they're nice and firm, but if you steam them, the water evaporates and they go floppy.
Yeah.
And that's because the water has left the vegetable. And so it becomes floppy, because water actually also provides structure to people don't realize. Okay. Water isn't just there to hydrate, it actually provides elasticity, structure, firmness, and strength to our tissues. So as well as drinking water, you want to eat a piece of fruit with your water as well. And that will hydrate you far more than just drinking the water.
So just a quick question on this. If we're doing that, would like a squeeze of lemon in your say hot water or something like that, would that work?
No, it's not the same thing. No,
not the same thing. Okay.
Not the same thing. It's actually having you could squeeze lemon into the water. That's going to be better than just water by itself.
Sure.
But I'm actually talking about eating the actual piece of fruit, whether it's a banana, apple, whatever it is. Apples are great. Apples are great to help you hydrate. But then there's other things that we don't realize about hydration.
Yeah.
And that's that inside the body, you've got water in stuff like our blood, you've got water between our cells, but you've also got the water that gets inside your cells as well. So you want water inside a cell like a balloon filled up with water, rather than all the water outside the balloon and your balloon's all nice and limp. Because if all your cells are limp, then they're not structured, they're not good. And so as well as having the water, you need the things inside the cells that basically bring the water into the cells. You need your cells hydrated. And that's about more than just water. It's about all the other things, the electrolytes that you need to basically get the water on the inside. So you need the right minerals in your diet.
Okay.
And this is why eating fruits and vegetables, celery, all these things, because they contain all the other nutrients and other bits and pieces that you need to not only just have water, but get the water into your cells and keep it structured. Structured water is something you can all go and Google as well. You can get the structured water, which is in the fruits and vegetables, and you're eating it, it gets inside the body, as opposed to ordinary water, which is not structured water, it's just water. And it's not the same as what you get in a piece of fruit or vegetable.
Wow.
So one more tiny little thing that can help people stay hydrated, which they really don't think about, is nuts and seeds.
Really? Okay.
Now, nuts and seeds, they are not full of water. But what they do is they soak up water and they help keep it in the body. So things like chia seeds, for instance. Chia seeds, especially if you soak them first, so you can take some chia seeds, stick them in some water and drink them. And they become gel-like within 5-10 minutes. And they actually, again, contain a lot of the things you need to maintain the moisture in your body.
Got you. That's really interesting. Never heard of structured water before, so that's a new one for me. So thank you for educating me on that one. Appreciate that. And obviously everything that you're saying so far. What I would love to do, Chris, is take the information that you've been sharing with us just now and make that practical for everybody in terms of something that we can all do going away from hearing you talk about this. So what challenge would you leave us with? Just one thing that we could do.
Okay, well, there is one thing that you can all do, but there's a second thing that I ask some of you to do. Okay, some of you to do. So I do something for everyone. Is try, instead of just having water to hydrate. So say you're already drinking water. Is basically have an apple or some chia seeds with your water. Okay, and if you're not drinking water, basically try and have maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 glasses of water a day, and at meal times have a piece of fruit, okay, or some other raw vegetables, so that you're having some raw hydration with your meals.
Nice, Chris. Thank you for that. Is that both challenges in?
No, that's
just the first one.
Increase. The second one is if you have gone to the doctor, okay, and you've been put on, say, a blood thinner. Okay, you want to ask him if he's actually done the osmolarity and the viscosity calculations from your blood tests. Because so many people are on blood thinners, but their blood is already thin, which is not good and it's not going to help. And so many people need to do something to thin their blood by hydrating themselves. And so you need to ask your doctor, have they done the viscosity and the osmolarity calculations, which they can do if they've ordered the right simple blood tests. Because that could end up saving your life, and it could end up getting you off of a lot of medication as well.
Thanks, Chris. Really do appreciate it. Always fascinating talking to you. Always learn a lot whenever we're together. So thank you for your time today.
Thank you very much, Neil.
Each week, I ask experts to leave us with a challenge. It's just an idea. It's something that we can try. If we like it, we can stick with it. But if the idea doesn't work for you, you can always throw it out and just keep looking and find something that works for you. I'm going to be taking this week's challenge. You can see my findings from this challenge in our challenge roundup video, which is a monthly summary covering all of the challenges our experts have shared. To get that video and all of our latest health and wellness uploads, including interviews and reviews, subscribe and hit the bell so you get notified whenever we post. And if this channel can help your friends and family, please share it with them too. If you want to get proactive with your health, Total Wellness Club are developing health quests over at questly.life. Join while we're developing the site and get access to health quests that immediately personalise your health. You'll get to identify which of 10 critical health categories need your attention. You'll be able to track your progress, and you'll be able to help us develop the platform too. I'll put a link in the description. I'll see you in the next video.